Okay, I'm at 819 Martin Avenue in Hamilton, Ohio, doing a sanitary lateral inspection for the purchase of a home. We're looking for any structural issues, root intrusion, anything that may be concerning to the buyer. Our access location is a stack right here at the bottom of the steps. You'll see there's a little cap there missing. Not missing, but there's a cap there that I removed. It's the easiest access. If nothing else, there's also a clean out in the floor right at the base of the stack. So we'll, if need be, we'll remove that, but hopefully we don't have to, because that doesn't look like it's ever been out. But this is cast iron, at least as it goes down to the floor. And probably goes straight over to that clean out. Cast iron isn't a horrible material, but you can see how it rusts and you get some buildup of that rust in the area. And so usually what we recommend is that with this is we don't recommend you ever use wet wipes, even if they say flushable, but it's even more important when you have cast iron, just because of how rough. When the line rusts, it gets really rough on the interior like this. And so because of that, if those things catch, they don't break down. So with paper, or with toilet paper, it will break down very easily and disintegrate. And so when it disintegrates, obviously it just turns to water and you can continue on down the line. With wet wipes, stuff like that, paper towels, feminine products, they don't, and so if they do catch, they will build up behind it and can cause a backup. So just a little word to the wise to make sure you're only putting stuff that's supposed to go down the toilet. So right as the line leaves the house, it goes from cast iron, it switches over to clay. This is normal materials for a house this age. And clay is a pretty good material. It doesn't break down. Usually what we see in most cases, the biggest thing we see is root intrusion, if there's any trees around. And it is holding a little bit of water, but there's just the line's just running flat, and so we can still see, but it is holding some water. Looks like the little section of the line is just flat. So what we'll do is we'll run some water. On the way back, we'll get up to the main, and then we'll run some water as we pull back. Really, this just looks flat, so it would be important to make sure you're not flushing anything, that you're not supposed to, because with the line having minimal pitch or minimal drop, things. You want to make sure that you don't have anything that can aggravate the issue as far as, making sure that everything gets out to the main. So, like I said, with these with the line being flat, you're just risking more backups. If you flush stuff you're not supposed to. Overall, the line is in pretty good shape. It's just really flat, so it doesn't have a whole lot of flow to it. Here we are at the main. So, made it all the way out. Good news is I really didn't see any major issues. I will note on there that we have cast iron in the house, and that the line is pretty flat, and so you do want to, like I said, it does have drop on it, but it's flat enough to where you don't want to aggravate the issue by putting anything down the sewer line that you should. I'm going to run some water here in the stationary tub. It's going to take a minute for the water to get down there. Got a little bit of water going in. Also from the condensate on the AC.
Okay, we'll sit here for a minute.
Hopefully the water gets down the liner relatively quickly, but with it being flat, it could take a minute for it to show up. Looks like there's some water flowing anyway, just because of me pushing through. The problem with the flat line is that if there's any storm or anything that's tied into this, sometimes some stuff can sit in the line and kind of cause things to catch. But like I mentioned, if you treat the line well, or as it's designed, it shouldn't be a problem. So we'll sit here and wait for that water to show up. It actually runs over and dumps straight into the floor drain. The line goes underground and comes out right. You can actually see the hole in the side of the floor drain where it comes out and dumps into the floor drain, along with the condensate on the other side. The hole from the stationary tub is underneath. It's like underneath the rim. Another thing I want to note about that is because of that, you have the washer and dryer hookup down here. You want to make sure that you're coating that you're covering the discharge on the washing machine, because the lint can clog up those cast iron lines, even something that's short or a smaller diameter. And so if you're dumping it into that stationary tub will obviously drain into that cast iron. And you just want to make sure you put those little filters on the end. They're, I think they're $3 or $4 for 2 of them. They're little nets that kind of go over the edge of your discharge under the washer, and that just kind of keeps some of the lint from going down the drain, and clogging up your line. But overall, see as the water's flowing. Overall, it's good structurally. It's still flat. So even with the water running, hopefully it doesn't cover up the lens at all. But you see, it's just flat. I don't see any solid buildups or anything like that, which is good. Just a very flat line. So you have to, when I'm pulling back, you have to kind of stop, and then you can see the water flowing by. See, you can can see the flashes where just because we have the water running, this is the spot that just barely flashing over the line with the water running. We are back into the cast iron. This is coming through straight over from the floor drain. And this leg is the toilet. And the only thing I saw really was right here at the base. There was some buildup of some stuff here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go flush the toilet real quick. And you can witness it coming through there just to be sure. So I'm going to leave the recording and I'll flush the toilet and see how it runs through there and dissipates. There it is. You can see, even when it rushes through there, it's not coming through too high, and it dissipates pretty quickly. So yeah, the line's in good shape. The only thing to be noting in the report is just that the line is flat, and there'll be a note about the cast iron, which will kind of cover both as far as just making sure, definitely no wet wipes. It said probably shouldn't be sold in my opinion, and none of them should say flushable on them, but they do it anyway. They don't break down well enough, and so to save yourself some headaches, we just recommend that you don't use them, or if you do, you throw them in a trash can in the restroom instead of actually throwing them down the toilet. And so but you can see we made it all the way back to the, and we're back in the reel. And so the line looked good. Structurally, everything's in good shape. Just a little flat, and so nothing major to report. We'll just have a couple notes in there about, again, how you make sure you take care of it. But other than that, the line looks really good and should function well. So that's going to end the inspection at 819 Martin Avenue in Hamilton, Ohio.